Hello, everyone. My name is Kanani Makikau, and I serve as the Director of External Relations here at Cal Poly, where I oversee parent and family programs as well as commencement. I'm excited to be here with you today for this special session with the incredible staff from the TRIO Achievers program. Since its establishment in 1984, TRIO Achievers really has been a cornerstone of Cal Poly and is funded by the U.S. Department of Education and dedicated to supporting over 258 students annually. This program offers a wide range of services, including personalized academic advising, tutoring, career guidance, and financial aid assistance. So in our conversation today, we'll explore what students can expect from TRIO Achievers in the coming year and how they can maximize the benefits of this really valuable program. That being said, I'd like to invite our special guests from the TRIO Achievers team to introduce themselves.
Hi, thank you so much for that introduction, Kanani. So my name is Jacqueline Gallegos. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the director of TRIO Achievers. I'm very excited to be here today.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Ryan?
Hi, thank you for the introduction, Kanani. My name is Ryan Ichinaga. I use him as pronouns, and I am the program coordinator slash academic advisor for Trio Achievers. And I'm also very excited to be here today.
Great. I'm so excited to have you. We're going to get right into a presentation by TRIO, and then we're going to be in conversation together afterwards. So I'll see you right after this presentation, folks.
And thanks for getting that presentation all pulled up for us, Stanley. So as we mentioned, we've already introduced ourselves, but we are the core staff members for TRIO Achievers, also called Student Support Services here at Cal Poly. So first off, we're going to just be talking about what is TRIO Achievers slash Student Support Services. So a quick overview, fast facts about us. TRIO Achievers, also known as Student Support Services, is one of many TRIO federally funded programs. We're part of the TRIO family, if you will. There are programs that support middle school, high school, and then college level as well. As Kanani mentioned in our introduction, we have been at Cal Poly since 1984. So we're actually 40 years old and we're celebrating our 40th birthday this year, which is very exciting. And we're looking forward to celebrating our legacy here at Cal Poly with our students this year. Also, as Kanani mentioned, we are funded to serve over 258 students per year. So we do like to make a pretty big impact here at Cal Poly, but keep it small and intimate enough that we can really get to know our students. Our location, we are located at Cal Poly State University. We are in building 124. That's right upstairs from the Disability Resource Center and Career Services over here by the Spanos Stadium. And we occupy 4 offices upstairs. So we are in rooms 229 through 232. And then briefly about eligibility. So because we are funded by the Department of Education and we are funded by a grant, we do have some eligibility requirements for students so that we can make sure that we're serving the students that we're supposed to. So in order to be in TRIO, students need to fit one or more of these identities. First, they can be low income eligible. They could also be a first generation college student, or they could be disabled and be registered with our DRC. So students, again, can be one or more of these identities to be in TRIO.
Awesome. And now we'll go ahead and go over the goals of our program and how we support our students. So our first goal is assisting students in maintaining and improving a 2.5 or above GPA. So we have a variety of resources that we'll be talking about, as well as the services that we provide, including advising to support students in helping in maintaining that GPA. We also support students in retaining them and assisting them with graduation from Cal Poly in a reasonable time frame. So like Kanani mentioned, we provide a lot of academic advising to students. And in one of those ways, we help with course registration and ensuring that students are meeting their plans and progressing towards graduating on time. Another goal we have is providing students with the resources, experiences, and knowledges that will enhance their college experience. And this is done through the shops that we do, as well as through our orientation class for students. And lastly, we encourage and assist students with their post-grad plans. And we do this in a couple of ways, one of them being through career development and career readiness. And then in another aspect, we support students who want to apply to graduate school and support them through the admissions and application process.
Next up, we're going to be talking about resources that are available to our TRIO students. And we have a couple slides because luckily we have a lot of resources for our students. So this first slide is about in-person resources. And again, students can find us in building 124 upstairs in offices 229 through 232. So first up is we do have a computer lab / study space upstairs. It is only available for our TRIO students, so a nice perk for them. It has a free printer, which is definitely helpful. It has 5 desktop computers, and it also has some little snacks if they need a little study break there, and a couple of like health supplies and Band-Aids and nice tea and stuff like that. Next up, we also do offer free school supplies to our TRIO students. It's pretty easy. They really just come by our office and ask for a little tour of the inventory that we've got right now. But we've got notebooks, pens, pencils, Scantrons, which are very popular, of course, during finals. So that's a great benefit to them. We do tech rentals as well. So we have a variety of different laptops students can borrow. We have calculators, graphing calculators. We have live scribe pens to help take notes. We have webcams, and students can basically just sign out and request a device for a quarter. And then if they want to extend the loan, they can just email us and ask to keep extending it through the academic year. And they're welcome to take the laptop to their dorm room or wherever they need to study. So that's a good benefit too, if they need to study on the go and just have access. Next up, we also have field trips, which is an exciting part of a college program that I know students don't go on field trips too often in college, so this is a great resource for them. At least once annually, we do visit a graduate school. So the graduate school visit is number one, to encourage students to move on to higher education if that's something that they're interested in, either a master's or PhD, or just to check out other college campuses in the area, which can be a good resource. We do go to some cultural events like plays and music shows and things like that. And we go to some art museums as well. Next up here is tutoring at the Learning Support Center here at Cal Poly. So of course, tutoring is free for all Cal Poly students. So any student can get tutoring, but there is a benefit to being in TRIO with tutoring. Essentially, TRIO students can get priority scheduling for the one-to-one tutoring sessions, which means that TRIO students can get their first appointment basically to be a weekly recurring appointment. So every week, Friday at 2 p.m., they've got calculus and it's booked out for all 10 weeks for them, which is amazing, especially when it comes to midterms and it gets hard to find an appointment. They've already got their standing appointment ready to go. So if your student or you are interested in doing the recurring weekly appointments, you can just ask a TRIO staff member to help get you started and signed up. And lastly, here is our workshops. These are all in person as well. And our workshops range from career readiness, so that could be like resume rewrites or how to network with employers on LinkedIn or in person. And we often collaborate with the career services team here at Cal Poly. We do some financial aid workshops or just financial readiness, and we help students fill out the FAFSA or CADA when that comes available. And then lastly, we just do some social workshops, which are meant to help students build community, get out of their dorm room or their apartment or wherever they are and make some friends here at Cal Poly too.
Along with the resources, we also provide different services to students. One of them being the peer mentor program for incoming students. So in this program, students are paired with an upper class trio student who's typically either in the same college or even major as them, and they can support the mentee with their adjustment to Cal Poly as well as their adjustment to the TRIO program and help acclimate them to the resources and services we provide. We also provide financial assistance to students, and we do this in a couple of different ways. One of them being the annual TRIO scholarship that we'll be talking in more detail later on, but this is typically offered around winter quarter. And we also provide support in students filling out any external scholarships they're interested in applying to, as well as helping students fill out their FAFSA or DREAM application. Um, as mentioned, we also provide academic advising to students. We can also help students with registering for classes, changing their major, or adding a minor, or doing long-term graduation planning with the student. We also provide support with students who are interested in grad school with doing research for helping them out with their research for graduate school, as well as providing them support in applying to graduate school. And we can also help them in connecting them to campus resources. And we usually do this in our quarterly check-ins that we do once a quarter with our students. We can also help with career readiness, so that includes resume building and finding networking opportunities for them, as well as finding external internships that they can apply to during their summer quarter or any time that's appropriate for them. And we also provide guaranteed housing to students. We have a TRIO residential learning community for first-year students, and we also provide second-year guaranteed housing on campus. Lastly, we have an orientation class that's worth 1 unit for credit or no credit, and we cover a variety of topics such as study skills, financial aid, budgeting, career readiness, as well as campus resources and campus culture.
Next up, we're just going to be talking about how to stay connected to TRIO. So first, how TRIO contacts you or your student. We contact our students in a lot of ways. So first is through just Cal Poly email, tried and true. We do have an Outlook email group that all of our TRIO students are on. So we send out all of our announcements there to the Outlook email group. Next, we do have a newsletter that goes out every single week to all of our students, again, just to their Cal Poly email, but that one is a little bit more fun and interactive, and it has all of our flyers for upcoming workshops. It has details about any field trips. It has study skills and other just helpful information that comes directly to their inbox every single week. Third, we do have a Canvas page. Canvas is the learning management system that students use for all their classes anyway. So we do have a TRIO SSS Canvas page. It's not a class. There is nothing tied to it. It's really just a resource hub for students. And so again, we post all of our announcements on there. We have a calendar of events so they can find it. We have all of our contact info, and then some resources about, scholarships coming up and stuff like that. Fourth, of course, we have an Instagram, as many campus clubs and organizations do, and that's an easy way for students just to see what the flyer of the week is and what workshops are happening near them this week. 5, we use Cal Poly Now, as all other campus organizations and clubs do. Cal Poly Now is where we post all of our events, so students can scroll through and check out what events are coming up near them. And then lastly, we use their Cal Poly emails to email our students individually. And that is either a professional staff member like Ryan or myself, or as Ryan mentioned, their TRIO peer mentor. So we might email our individual students just to check in on how they're doing, or schedule any advising appointments that are coming up with them. And then lastly here is how to contact us. So of course we have a Cal Poly email. It's just trioachievers@calpoly.edu. Our phone number here on the slide, 805-756-1395. And lastly, our location, again, we're in the Student Services building. It's building 124, and we're upstairs. Our main office is room 229, but we occupy 229 through 232 at Cal Poly.
And then here's some information that may be helpful for you in knowing more about our program. So the first part is the commitments of the program. The main commitments are attending 2 TRIO events per quarter. As a side note, if you're either unable to attend our events when we host them, or if you're dual enrolled in another program like Cal Poly Scholars or EOP, you have the option of attending any campus partner events they host and submit a form in order to have it count towards your event requirement. Another commitment of the program is maintaining at least a 2.5 GPA, and we can support you in that through advising as well as the tutoring appointments that we have through the Learning Support Center. And then lastly, we also ask that you meet with your TRIO academic advisor at least once per quarter. And then we also have our scholarship, like we mentioned. This year, it will be announced in winter quarter of 2025. And the main requirements for the TRIO scholarship to be eligible for it are that you have to be receiving a Pell Grant and have unmet financial need. We also ask that you are a full-time student, so you must be enrolled in at least 12 units and be in good academic standing the quarter before the scholarship application. So you'll need to have at least a 2.5 GPA during fall quarter of this year. And then the other commitments of the scholarship are that you meet the event requirement, which is attending 2 events per quarter with us or with another approved campus partner. And the scholarship is primarily geared towards first year and second year students. But if there are any additional funds, then you may be considered if you're an upperclassman or a transfer student.
And this is our last slide wrapping up. So again, just a frequently asked question, and I'll walk you through the infographic here. But the question is, what if I'm in TRIO and another program? And we're so lucky at Cal Poly that there's a couple of really amazing programs that support our students and have similar eligibility requirements. So many of our students are in TRIO, in Cal Poly Scholars, and or EOP, Educational Opportunity Program. And so we made this chart essentially just to help students and their supporters understand, what if I'm in TRIO and another program? What does that look like? So we'll walk you through the leftmost pathway there, only TRIO. Ryan just went over that on the last slide, but as we mentioned here, first off, our students are paired with a TRIO mentor. So they meet with their TRIO peer mentor approximately every 2 weeks. So it's about 4 times per quarter. They also need to check in with their TRIO advisor quarterly, so just 1 time per quarter. And then, as we mentioned, they do need to attend 2 TRIO events per quarter. So those are like workshops or field trips or something like that. The second column here is for students that are in both TRIO and Cal Poly Scholars. There is a little star on some of these you'll see next to the CP Scholars. And if you look on the top right little speech bubble, it's just telling you, please refer to Cal Poly Scholars or EOP for their individual program requirements. This is not meant to be an exhaustive list. It's just how your program requirements for TRIO could be flexible if you're in these programs. So just want to say we're not speaking for CP Scholars or EOP and their requirements. This is just for TRIO and how you can be a little flexible with us. So going back here on this second column, so TRIO and Cal Poly Scholars, if you're in both of these programs, these are what your requirements look like. You still meet with your TRIO mentor, but you meet them approximately 3 times per quarter, so 1 less. And that is so that you can have some time to meet with your CP Scholars mentor. CP Scholars also has a mentorship program that they're rolling out, and they are going to have their students meet their CP Scholars mentor 1 time per quarter. So you still get your 4 meetings, but you're using them between both programs. Next, you meet with your TRIO advisor quarterly, so that requirement is still the same here. And then lastly, you still need to attend 2 events per quarter. But as Ryan mentioned, if you're dual enrolled or just have kind of trouble scheduling or getting to our events, you can possibly go to a CP Scholars event and then submit the event essentially on a Microsoft form and some quick details and submit that event for your TRIO credit. So don't want students to feel like they're kind of all over the place and there's requirements everywhere. It's easy to be in multiple programs. There's benefits to being in multiple, and we can be a little flexible by, allowing you to go to relevant CP Scholars events and then submitting them to TRIO. The third column here is TRIO and EOP. So if you're in just TRIO and EOP, same mentorship requirement. You meet with your mentor around every 2 weeks, so 4 times per quarter. The advising piece is a little bit different if you're an EOP. EOP is going to serve as the main advisor. They have an excellent team of academic advisors that helps follow the student all the way through their career here at Cal Poly, much like TRIO. But if you're an EOP in TRIO, they serve as your main advisor. The only thing that we ask is that there is a mandatory check-in with the TRIO advisor for your first year fall quarter, mostly just to establish some rapport, get to know you, make sure that you're on track. And then after that, TRIO advisor is optional after that first fall quarter that you're here at Cal Poly, and you mainly just go to EOP. Of course, we're still here if you want to meet with us, and you can check in with us. We're always here for any appointment, but we don't want to overload students with those requirements. So we hand you off to EOP because they're capable and ready to help you. And then lastly, same thing, 2 events per quarter. And again, you can use EOP events if you would like to attend their events and then submit it for your TRIO credit. And then finally, what if you're in TRIO, CP Scholars, and EOP? Well, you've hit the jackpot. You're in a bunch of amazing programs and we're happy for you. And again, want to be a little flexible with you here. So you meet with your TRIO mentor 3 times per quarter. And then of course you have that one meeting with your CP Scholars mentor too. Same thing, EOP serves as your main advisor. You just meet with us in fall quarter, your first year. And after that, we're optional, but here for you if you want to hang out with us and ask any questions. And then lastly, again, 2 events per quarter, either TRIO events or CP Scholars or EOP.
Sorry about that awkward pause there, folks. Just trying to click on there, and wow, such great information, Jacqueline and Ryan. Thanks so much. We did have some questions coming in during the presentation. So I want to try and synthesize those. They come in, and so I'm trying to piece these together here. Maybe this first question is a good one. So Ryan, I think on your side, you were talking about here's the question. Can any year apply to be a TRIO student? Say you're coming in, right? I think this might be a parent and supporter of a transfer student. And so they're coming in actually for their junior year. Are they able to apply for the TRIO program?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So yes, students are eligible to apply regardless of what year they're in. This is where like we are like a little bit different from CP Scholars or EOP is that you can apply any year that you're in, regardless of if you're coming in as a first year student or if you're coming in as a junior or a senior. We still have, as long as you meet the eligibility requirements of either identifying as low income or first generation, or if you're a disabled student registered for the DRC, then we would accept you regardless of what year you apply in.
Great. And I think I saw too on that slide is that you can apply to be a TRIO student any year, right? But the priority for the scholarship is for first and second years.
Yep. Yeah. So that's the one thing is that if you apply later on, you may not receive some of the benefits of the program. Like if you apply during your junior year, you may not be eligible to receive the scholarship in a comparison to if you were a first or second year student, as well as like if you apply as a continuing student, then you may not be registered for the University 100 class. But aside from that, you should be eligible to receive most of the other services we provide. And then the same thing with the scholarship too, is that if on the chance that there is any remaining funds, you may also be eligible for the scholarship, but that's usually like flexing each year depending on how much funds we have available and how many students apply.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And can I add a point actually?
Please.
I did want to mention as well for students that are applying or interested in applying to TRIO, you don't have to be an incoming student. So I know that we mentioned first years and transfers, but even current students apply. We have students that are in their second year that decide they want to join TRIO, and it's completely fine. So you can join even if you're a current student at Cal Poly as well.
Excellent. Good point to make there. And Ryan, you just talked about University 100, and Jacqueline, I was wondering, University 100, to my knowledge, is a great resource for students who maybe need to learn more about the resources on campus or to learn how to write emails with professors, right? And so, is it a requirement that TRIO Achiever students take University 100? What?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So University 100, as Ryan mentioned, and I'll reiterate just a little bit for context, University 100, it's only offered in the fall and it's only for our incoming, so freshmen and transfer students. 1 unit, credit, no credit. It's not meant to trip you up or add too much stress to your plate there. Um, and yes, it's a required class, but as you're mentioning, Kanani, it's really just meant to be a place to acclimate students to Cal Poly, help them find that TRIO community, connect here with TRIO staff, and then get them really connected to campus resources and feel competent and able to navigate through their time at Cal Poly.
Great, great. Okay, this next question from a parent and supporter is, it looks like they are thinking about holding their student accountable here. It says, is there a chance my student could lose their TRIO membership if requirements are not met?
Good question. Ryan, do you want to discuss or myself?
Uh, I can, if you'd like to talk a little bit more about that, then I'd be happy to have you talk more about it.
Okay, yeah, you can chime in if I forget anything, but excellent question. Again, Kanani, repeating your question is, if students don't meet the requirements, are they at risk to lose their spot in TRIO? Great question. I will say, I guess the simple answer is no, not exactly. Really, our goal is retaining students at Cal Poly, and we don't want to remove resources and support from them. So we do hold students accountable if they're dropping below their 2.5 GPA, if they find themselves on academic probation. We do have very specific geared advising practices towards that and really help students get back on track and connect them with university advising and retention. We have academic probation meetings with them just to see kind of what's standing in their way between good academic standing or graduating and what we can do to support. Or if students aren't attending events, we check in with them individually and just say, hey, what's going on? What can I do to support you? Or do you have something in your life, like a responsibility, like work or family or you're commuting, that makes it challenging for you to reach this? So the short answer, as I said, no, they will not lose their spot at TRIO. We still want to hold them accountable, but we don't want to remove the support and resources, especially from students who might actually need that support the most.
Mm-hmm. Those are great points. Jacqueline, you were talking too, and it was reminding me of a couple of things. I myself was a TRIO student. I was a TRIO Achiever student at University of Oregon, and it was really one of the top 5 reasons why I was successful in college. And one of the reasons why is, coming from Maui to the mainland was sort of a culture shock. And TRIO Achievers and that team there at University of Oregon gave me actually a physical space to be in as well, right? When you don't know what to do with yourself, you're brand new in college, you haven't maybe made your friend group yet. And so it was a place that I could go. Can you tell me more about your facilities? And I know that you went into it with the slides, but I'm really interested in there's computers to use. It sounds like a welcoming place for students to study and or just be, for a little while.
Yeah, well, number one, Kanani, I'm so glad that you're in TRIO and that it was a supportive, welcoming environment for you. And our students have said similar things about TRIO too, that it just can be a community for them here at Cal Poly, especially if they are not feeling as represented by other, places on campus or just kind of need somewhere to have as home base or a safe spot for them on campus. So yes, we have a computer lab. It's upstairs here in building 124. It has 5 desktop computers, and often students will just come in there and they'll just be individually studying. So sometimes they even have their own laptop up, and that's fine. They don't have to use the computer, but it's there if they need it. So I see students just kind of studying and hanging out. Sometimes they'll even say, "Oh, when are you going to kick me out?" And I said, "Whenever they lock the building. That's I'm not kicking you out at 5, so you're good to stay until the custodian comes by." So we have some late night owls in there, and especially with Kennedy Library being remodeled and the study spaces on campus being a little bit spread out, our students really find the study space to be helpful because they show up and they know there's going to be a seat for them. They know that they can have trio staff members right here. Number one, to ask advising or academic questions, but number two, just to joke around and say hi and have a friendly little smile. Second, our students, of course, love the snacks. I think for our students that are busy on the go, taking 12 or more units and working and doing all these other things, I see we have a sign out sheet for our snacks, and we have to replenish quite a bit, actually. Our students really enjoy the snacks in there. And then for trio mentorship, as we mentioned, the students meet their mentor around every 2 weeks. And that can really serve as a very nice home base for them because our mentors host office hours, which is much like professors. They hang out for an hour and they just make themselves available every single week to any trio student. So trio students know if I want a peer to talk to, I can just walk into the computer lab and I'll find them. And we can either stay there, go on a walk or something, but it's just a hub and a space that they can be on campus. They can have nice, quiet study time. They can come by, get a snack, do some free printing. But I think it really helps students feel like they have a spot, a home base on campus.
Yeah, I remember that being so important for me. Well, Jacqueline and Ryan, we're wrapped up here with questions. I don't have any more in the queue. So I'm going to go ahead and close us out unless you want to add anything. Yep, great. Let me close us out. All right. So thank you again, Jacqueline and Ryan, for sharing your insights and the incredible work you do with Trio Achievers. It's clear that the program plays a vital role in supporting our students' success here at Cal Poly, and I really recommend for students to explore the Trio Achievers program, see if you qualify. It's an excellent resource here on campus. So as we want to wrap up, I just want to remind everyone that the resources and guidance offered by Trio Achievers are designed to help students thrive both academically and personally. So if you have any further questions or need more information, please contact the Trio team. You saw their contact information there. You can also find them online. So thank you all for joining us today, and special thanks again to Jacqueline and Ryan for your time and expertise. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having us.